Sorry about that. Gudgies, gudgies, gudgies. Good to see yous, good to see yous, good to see yous. The background, don't worry about the background. That's just to do what the video is about. It's kind of what I put into the prompt, what the video is about, and that's what we came out with. But it looked cool enough, so I thought, keep that. So, sorry about that. Right, guys, yeah, video from Sling and Stone. I thought since I'm not doing a live tonight, I'd get a video out. I did put one out last night, but that was trimmed from Flax's. I just thought I might do a little commentary video, review, react, whatever you want to call it, you know. From Sling and Stone, Christian channel, this dude here. We've done streams on him before. So this channel here, Sling and Stone. The video we're doing is this one. The most disturbing videos from around the internet today, from 12 days ago. I've got this one saved here about the fallen angels. There's one from a day ago as well, and orbs and stuff. But he's a Christian dude. But yeah, he's seen that the title doesn't explain what it's actually completely about, but not most disturbing, like as in horror or anything like that. I feel like, but real life, you know, weather, controlled weather, stuff like that. You know what I mean? So things like that. Also maybe achoo kind of things, you know. You know what I'm saying? Don't say too much, but we'll react to it anyway. We'll see what it says. Put his link in the description, and we'll get going. So let's react to it. Let's get it up then. Right, let's do this thing.
Flu season, is this a particularly bad one?
Yes, this.
Oh, straight into it. Okay, so flu season, it's no joke. At least it's not the COVID 20-1 thing again. But I think we're allowed to say flu. We're not allowed to say the other one. But I wonder if it's going to be something like that. You know, maybe they're planning something like that again. Or let it speak for a little while before I continue, because I just literally played it and stopped.
Flu season is no joke. We are seeing more cases than we would expect for this time of year.
Governments around the world.
More cases, but maybe this is actually where people are getting the flu, but maybe it's, I don't know, imposed upon them somehow. Make of that what you will.
Have been known to unwillingly test different things on their populations. Is that what we're seeing with this mystery fog that has?
See, that's kind of what I was thinking of. I didn't want to come straight out and say it, but I suppose I can. You know, why should I be so scared? I mean, it's not like I'm monetized. I mean, I'm monetized, but it's not out to me. It's not like I get paid for it or anything. The worst I could do is just, you know, stop the video, I suppose, or shoot me down. So yeah, obviously I'll try and be a little bit, have a little bit of a demeanor about it, a bit of decorum, should I say? Not demeanor, decorum. But I'm not going to be too like reserved. So yeah, the LA mystery fog doesn't look like regular smog to me. And not to me. Wow, why did I think that said to me? It's a different two, and it says dispersed. There's like regular smog, too dispersed. It's just because I must have thought that's what was coming to me. But yeah, it's kind of weird looking. Fog. This fog can get thick, but not with that kind of hue to it. Kind of, it's got a weird kind of color. The density of it, it's kind of weird. Like they said, they're too dispersed, but also looks thick. Usually when you have fog, you can't see your hand in front of your face if it's thick, but that looks like that, but dispersed at the same time. Weird. Anyway.
This happened recently in LA and last year around America. Maybe this is playing some sort of role with these mysterious illnesses that people around the world are experiencing. We can pray that through this all we...
So I want to take that back, see what I'd said. December 26th. 2025, so Boxing Day here in the UK. Mystery illnesses seen. Couple of these videos this morning on my TikTok site. is anybody else seeing it too? I'm just wondering. It does seem like a lot of people are getting ill lately. I mean, Vicky's getting a lot of headaches. I've had a headache. Felt ill this morning. Flat certainly seemed a bit sniffly. Roger was ill last week for a few weeks. Last week and beyond that for a few weeks. Think he's just getting over it now. Madness. I wonder, could it be something they're spraying in the sky, maybe? Something else?
World are experiencing. We can pray that through this all we will see Luke 8:17 come to fruition. For nothing is secret that will not be revealed, nor anything hidden that will not be known and come to light.
And how true is that? How true is that? Oh, I mean, all things that have been secretive come to the light at some point. And it's God that reveals that, whether through truth, through media, through whatever. Well, not through truth, because it is the truth. You know, whether through media, through people, through TV, you know, through the internet, through conviction, you know, through vision, through not prophecy, all prophecy, yeah, but just through your relationship with God, you know, things become more revealed to you the more your relationship with God develops and gets more mature.
We'll first look into some of these mysterious illnesses that people are experiencing.
Mystery virus that not just myself, but apparently thousands of other people have, if not, who knows how many more across the world have. None of us are testing positive for anything. Nothing's really helping it. I'm in weak.
So nobody's tested positive for anything. If they've got flu-like symptoms, wouldn't they be testing positive for flu? Unless it's not flu, unless there's flu on something else, but it's some kind of illness that they don't usually test for. So surely they usually test for everything they know about. So if this is something they don't test for, and it's something new, surely that it's been introduced by man. Satan through man. I'm not saying that's the truth. I'm just saying that's a speculation on it, you know, allegedly. If I was saying it, which I'm not. So it's not even allegedly. It's just speculation. It's a possibility. Anyway.
6 now, and I think I'm giving up my search of trying to figure out what it is.
If you have this like weird sore throat thing that's going around, what are you doing?
And a few weeks ago, I didn't really have a sore throat, but I had a croaky throat for days. It was a little bit, it wasn't sore. You know, when you get a sore throat and you swallow, you can tell. It wasn't like that. I could swallow as normal, but when I was speaking, it was kind of raspy. Like it goes like that when people are on heroin. Well, obviously, I'm not on heroin anymore, but I'm used to it because of that. So I didn't think nothing of it until I caught myself being raspy without having a sore throat. It's weird. It's weird.
To fix it, because like if it's the same thing that what I'm having, I went to the doctors and they told me that nothing's wrong with me, but like obviously there's something wrong because my voice sounds like this and it hurts.
Pause it a little bit because that'll be copyright music in the background, so don't let it go too long. But yeah, it's certainly looks like it's being reported on TikTok. I don't know about YouTube and that. This is 12 days ago, so it was obviously into last year as well, into December. Yeah, I remember a lot of people being ill. Like I said, Vicky, Roger, Flat says, I have been, not to the extent they have been. Michael, especially Michael, you know, after being in hospital and that. Not good, man.
So bad. And like they tested me for flu, strep, like all the viruses, and they said nothing. So
the blanked out one would have been the old convict. 20 minus 1.
what is the issue?
Last month, the Daily Mail posted that a US man was hospitalized with a strain of virus never before seen in humans.
I haven't seen this, and that's like what I was just saying. Something it's not tested so possibly something that most people don't know about. So something new and introduced and imposed, possibly.
Lab tests confirmed that the Washington state resident was infected with H5N5, which is a strain of bird flu previously detected in animals but never before recorded in humans. We should keep track of instances like that when it hasn't been recorded in humans before, because something strange could be going on, but I think that's separate from what we're seeing everybody posting on social media about.
See, comment on your location and symptoms. It's meant to be, it says let's, but let's find out if it's connected. 12, 25, 25. So yeah, that was early. That was into the LA in the December. But you know, I remember when the convict was about, and you typed into Google an amount of cases, anything between 1 and 10,000, random. You could pick it and do it as many times as you want. And say you pick 789, it would come up with, and you put cases next to it. It's 789 cases of convict 20 minus 1 in this certain place, in this certain country, in this certain hospital, and stuff like that. No matter what number you put in, it did that back in 2020, 2021 time when the convict was about. Maybe that's going to start doing something similar. I don't know.
Now the news is even coming out and saying that mysterious viruses are spreading around the world.
A new and mysterious virus is quietly spreading across the globe.
So possibly there could be some illnesses that's introduced. Isn't it weird that the convict in 2020 and that was a psyop, allegedly, right? So speculation, right? But this one, there is people being ill all over the place and reporting it. So it's like, isn't it mad that that was a psyop when obviously people were ill back then, and maybe there was a few cases of that, but they put it out as a pandemic when, okay, right, whatever you say. But this one, maybe people are getting ill because it's imposed speculation, It's the polar opposite of the last one, unless it's they're imposing it upon people to make them ill, and then they're going to do another plan something. It rhymes with pandemic, as in pandemic. Anyway, just speculation, gadgets.
Leaving health experts on high alert. Adenovirus is being described as untreatable, as no specific antiviral therapy exists. It's also causing
Wasn't that the same as something else?
concern because of its unusual resilience and rapid spread. Health experts have warned that while most healthy people experience only mild symptoms, vulnerable groups could face more serious complications. Unlike more familiar illnesses such as flu.
I mean, we're due a bloody pandemic, and it's been 5 years. Wow.
Or adenovirus is unusually hardy. It can survive on surfaces for long periods and cannot be killed easily by soap, water, or everyday disinfectants. This makes it highly contagious.
Oh, can't wait for the Lord to come back. The world is just turned terrible. Days of Noah, guys. Days of Noah. It's up ahead, or we're nearly there, or we're in it.
And difficult to control. Experts are particularly worried because adenovirus can present in a wide range of ways, sometimes mimicking flu, COVID, or even common colds, making early detection
blanked out the old COVID convict
challenging. While there is currently no targeted treatment for adenovirus, most people will recover with rest and supportive care.
About a week ago, people in LA were saying that they were experiencing strange symptoms from this chemical-looking fog. They're saying it looked nothing like normal fog. It seemed like really heavy smog in the air. People were saying they were getting sick. Of course, reports of heavy spraying days before. In just a moment, we'll look at a handful of different cases of different governments around the world unwillingly testing things on their populations. So this should be a legitimate question that we ask if strange things are happening around the world. Is the government somehow involved? Almost exactly a year ago from...
My guess is that's probably a positive and affirmative. I don't trust any governments. So, yeah, I would say so. Again, allegedly, speculation, whatever. But yes, I would say so.
In this LA fog, we had the fog that was sweeping across America on January 4th that people were saying was making them sick.
However, it turns out and ends up to be, whether it's a pandemic, where it is actually a virus being imposed, it's got to do with the government.
This is not fog.
You guys think this is normal.
What really is going on?
What is this?
With all them Jew kind of, I mean, that was bigger. No, you don't. In fog, yes, it's kind of it's different from smoke. Obviously, it can kind of act like smoke. It doesn't swish about like smoke. And that you can feel the wetness of it, but you don't usually see it like big dewy kind of drops. You know, dew drops. You know what I mean? Sort of thing. That just seeing like if you see fog and you see the actual particles of it, it'd be very, very small compared to that.
Fog has started to show up all across the country. Mysterious fog has been seen all over the.
Dude, this is crazy.
Yeah,
This is not
that's a little too. Yeah, it's a little too. I don't know, dense.
normal. It's black.
If this is artificial and it's not chemical warfare, we do know that weather manipulation is real.
There you
There are
go.
multiple public
And how
companies.
long have we been talking about chemical warfare for? Wow, long time. I remember in the 80s we were talking about it. So it's been well, but obviously before that. I was a kid in the 80s. So they've been talking about it a lot longer than that.
That admit to cloud
Psychological warfare as well.
seeding and creating storms.
Yeah, dude. I mean, cloud seeding ripped from the 50s through the 70s because the weather is something that ought to be controlled. If we do not solve the problem of water scarcity, particularly groundwater scarcity, then there will be total agricultural collapse in the American West. What Rainmaker is doing is using very cheap drones that can carry payloads up.
No. God's green earth works properly. He made it to work properly. If you are interfering with God's work, then it's not working properly. You're trying to manipulate God's green, natural earth that he created and the dynamic system that it's in, that it consists of.
To cloud, we'll either die a whimpering death or have a glorious future if we decide to cautiously move forward with weather modifications.
Very dangerous playing with God's creation, man. Very dangerous.
These strange occurrences of
That's what I'm saying. I was saying today in my Bible stream that Satan, right, wanted to be higher. Right, I'll pull myself up for a bit. Satan wanted to be higher than God. Jealous of God, wanted to be above him, loved him so much, wanted to be above him, jealous of him. But Satan knows he can't be above God. He knows that. No matter how much he tries in vain because that's his nature. You know what I mean? But he knows he's no better than God. He knows he's nowhere near God. But yet man, who's less powerful than Satan, except through Christ, obviously, I'm talking about non-Christ believers. They actually think they're better than God. They actually think they're better than God. Yet Satan, who is the most proud, the biggest manipulator, the biggest deceiver, the author of confusion, even he knows he can't be God or better than God. But yet us simple little men think we can be. No. How much more proud are we and arrogant are we if we think that? To manipulate weather and stuff like that and God from God's created earth. Who do you think you're dealing with? Wow. How bloody arrogant are we if we think we're better than God? But yet Satan knows he's not. Madness, isn't it? Absolute madness. Sorry about that, little rant.
fog are being engineered so that something massive could be done on the ground and not seen by satellite imaging.
I think they're moving something.
Okay.
Right over our head. We can't see anything. We don't get fog inland like where we live. Occasionally, maybe once a year. The last week, it's like I live in, I don't know what Maine is like, but I imagine Maine is foggy. And I then, in the group chat Discord, people were talking about San Jose and Central Valley. So then I Google it. The whole state has deep, deep fog.
So you think there's a conspiracy on why fog?
It's not just in one concentrated area. It's all over the place. How come we haven't seen it before? Because that's not how God created it to be. It's probably been introduced somehow.
Is coming before Christmas.
Yeah, I think they're moving something.
Moving what though? Aliens?
Maybe. UFOs?
Okay.
You cannot see anything.
No, you can't. It's a good kind of way to distract the population.
I just don't believe. What is this fog?
That's true. That's true. That's true. That's a possibility. Could be a distraction for something else. Keep your eyes on this while we do something else over there. Misdirection, like magicians do. It could be. That's a possibility.
I mean, I'm at the weatherman. You can't even see this.
Or it could be both. It could be all.
Stoplight.
What an incredible way to do anything you want. And it may not even be over our head. It could be in the street. Like all of a sudden, if 50 tanks just move through the street, we won't even know.
I don't want to cause anyone to feel paranoid if they're experiencing any of these things. Put your trust in the Lord Jesus Christ. He can deliver you from every form of attack and every form of evil. I do think it's important that we look at the real possibility of mystery fogs, these mystery illnesses, or anything else strange that's happening, and their potential.
Look, in my opinion, they've been doing things like this for a long time. I mean, mystery illness and stuff. Don't know about the weather thing, but they've certainly been working their way up to it with, shallower things, smaller things, and then up until that. I mean, once upon a time, chemtrails were a conspiracy. Now they're fact. They admit it, don't they?
To be artificial. Governments around the world have unwillingly tested chemicals on their populations ever since they had the ability to.
They infected a city without telling them. No warning,
There
no
you go.
consent.
Biological warfare, biowarfare experiment on unsuspecting civilians. You know, and there's probably declassified CIA documents proving it as well.
Just a classified test on unsuspecting civilian. In 1955, the U.S. Army sprayed bacteria over the city of Savannah, Georgia, on purpose. The operation was part of Project 112, a Cold War-era biowarfare testing program. The Army
Cold War, another big old psyop. Another big old psyop.
released the cloud of bacteria from ships off the coast, believing it could simulate anthrax.
Remember the Star Wars program back then with the Cold War and that? Another big old psyop.
Over the next week, the bacteria drifted into Savannah.
Hey,
thousands of
that's a good topic. Why don't we? That's going back. I'm gonna have to take a note of that. Get something on the look at something on the Star Wars program that they were doing back in the Cold War, Reagan and that. I haven't heard anybody talk about that. Not in a long time, and not on YouTube. I'm gonna have to search that. Star Wars program. I have to make a note of that. Let me just actually make a note of it now. Just so I don't forget, because I'll forget. I'm going to record it. I'm going to send it on WhatsApp to Vicky in a voice clip, so I don't forget. Babe, remind me on something. I'm trying to remember. No, trying to find things on the Star Wars program. Obviously, another psyop back in the 80s with the Cold War with Reagan and that. But I haven't heard anybody talk about it. But just remind me because I'll forget. Star Wars program. Love you. Bye. There we go. So I won't forget now.
Residents breathed it in. Children, elderly, pregnant women, none of them were told. The Army watched from a distance, collecting data on how far the bacteria spread. They called it an experiment in urban vulnerability. Internal documents
We
showed
shouldn't be experimenting with people's lives. God's creation you're messing with.
The bacteria could cause infections in people with weak immune systems, yet called it harmless. It led to spikes in respiratory infections, a noticeable uptick in coughing.
I mean, look, the whole AIDS epidemic, HIV and all that. You've heard the conspiracies about that. I reckon there's something to it. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't come naturally. It's made by a certain species of people.
Fatigue and unexplained illnesses, especially among children and seniors. The long-term cancer implications remain unstudied because they're impossible to track. When the information came to light decades later, the government gave no apology, they offered no compensation. Most Americans still don't know it happened.
In America, the government has tested different things on the population unknowingly multiple times. In the 1950s,
Sorry about that. Vicky must have thought I'd stopped recording. I'm not going to edit it out. I'm not going to edit it out or anything like that. I'm just going to get it out as a video. Obviously, at Premiere. But she phoned back. She must have thought I'd finished the video. So sorry, I had to mute then. Just didn't hear the conversation. Sorry about that.
Operation Sea Spray took place in San Francisco, where bacteria was dispersed from a ship to test what citywide contamination would look like. This raised later health concerns among those who were affected. Something similar also happened in St. Louis, Missouri.
This next story is so unbelievable, we didn't think it could possibly be true. But after receiving thousands of records and declassified reports from the Army, it's confirmed that during the Cold War, the United States military conducted secret tests on unsuspecting people in the city of St. Louis.
Lisa Martino Taylor's life work has been to uncover.
I'll stop it for a little bit here now because it is all news stories and that. But look, that human testing, arc stands, what missing? Right, all right. That's telling the other things. I thought it was listing things under the human testing. Now it's talking about other programs there, but it's beyond a joke. Human testing. It's bad enough when you animal test sometimes, but human testing. Come on. We shouldn't have to human test or animal test.
Details of the Army's ultra-secret military experiments carried out in St. Louis and other cities during the 1950s and 60s.
This study was secretive for a reason. They didn't have volunteers stepping up and saying, yeah, I'll breathe zinc cadmium sulfide with radioactive particles.
These Army archive pictures show how the tests were done in Corpus Christi, Texas in the 1960s. In Texas, planes were used to drop the chemical, but in St. Louis, the Army placed chemical sprayers on buildings and station wagons. City officials were kept in the dark about the test.
See, kept in the dark. They weren't even warned about it. That's ridiculous. I mean, if something like that, just say it was meant to be for the good of mankind, and they had to test this. They still should have had to ask freaking permission. So it just goes to show you it's for nefarious reasons, not for good. Or else they would have been warned. Sick.
The Cold War cover story was that the Army was testing smoke.
Talked about the Cold War. Star Wars program, babe. I'm keeping the ring in. That's funny.
Screens to protect cities from a Russian attack. The
Phone
truth,
ring,
according to Martino Taylor, was much more sinister.
It's pretty shocking. The level of duplicity and secrecy. Clearly, they went to great lengths to deceive people.
By making...
And there's some things in secret. It's nefarious. Like I say, because scripturally, secret things come to light. So if it's in secret, it's not good.
Hundreds of Freedom of Information Act requests, she uncovered once classified documents that confirmed the spraying of zinc cadmium sulfide.
There you go. Once classified documents. So declassified now, like I said earlier.
The greatest concentration of this compound was sprayed near the Pruitt-Igoe housing complex just south of downtown St. Louis. It was home to 10,000 low-income people, and an estimated 70%.
Wow. 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 So when they did do it, and kept it secret from everybody. It had to be done on the low-income people, the expendables, the dregs of society. You know, the people are not, the lives aren't worth nothing. Well, in God's eyes, they are. That is absolutely sick. Deplorable, abominable. And you'd go to hell for that if you did not repent. Disgusting.
Under the age of 12. Martino Taylor claims they all unknowingly inhaled this compound morning, noon, and night so the government could measure its effects on their lungs.
So this is in violation of all medical ethics.
The government could measure the effect on their lungs. You need your lungs to live, to breathe oxygen. What if it stops the lungs working? See what I mean? Nefarious reasons. Disgusting. God will judge you for that.
All international codes and the military's own policy at that time.
The most logical theory for what happened in 2020 is that it was made in a lab. Will we ever see justice for the harm done?
I'm not saying I agree, but I agree.
by those who made it? Will anyone finally face the same consequences that everyone else would face who aren't in a position of power?
The economy is not going to be anything like...
What does that say there? Bill Gates, we may not know until August whether schools can open up. Which ones can open up? All right, that was back then.
It's going to take a long time to recover. It's going to be, people are going to be surprised at how slow and how fitful this is.
I don't know, but I do know that vengeance is the Lord's, and that God has a cup of his wrath.
I said, judgment is his. He'll be judged for it. Part of the wrath.
That is being stored up to pour out on those who do not repent and admit to their sins against innocent lives, like the secret experiments that took place in Guatemala.
Did you know about the Guatemalan syphilis experiment? Between 1946 and 1948, the United States government conducted this secret...
Yes, I heard about this. I don't know specifics, but the syphilis. Syphilis can kill you. You can get it through sexually transmitted. You can get it sexually transmitted wise. Obviously otherwise as well, but syphilis can kill you. It's ridiculous. That is disgusting.
Operation without the informed consent of the Guatemalan people. This dark chapter in medical history involved thousands of people, more specifically orphans, mental health patients, prisoners, and Guatemalan soldiers. These sick experiments were led by physician John Charles Cutler, the same man who assisted in the Tuskegee syphilis experiment involving African Americans. These affected innocent children and other unwilling...
So the other one was against lower class of people, working class people, you know what I mean? And then now against racial minorities. Disgusting, man.
Patients with syphilis and gonorrhea, supposedly in the name of science.
All sexually transmitted disease. So give them it, and then, they might have it for a while, live with it for a while, pass it on, then die. The other people pass it on, and see what I mean? Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting, man. Meanwhile, all the people that are probably doing it are sitting there with vaccines or preventatives.
This led to the unfortunate passing of hundreds of children and the spreading of these diseases amongst the larger Guatemalan population. It was later discovered that these operations were even more widespread as the experiments were expanded to state-run schools, orphanages, rural indigenous towns, and only ended in 1958 when large amounts of the test subjects were succumbing to these diseases. Guatemala was chosen as the test location because the experiments were seen as unethical by the American populace, and thus was decided they did not want the bad publicity or ethical constraints related to individual consent, thus choosing to exploit the majority indigenous people of Guatemala, as these American medical researchers knew they could get away with avoiding legal consequences. Unfortunately, the researchers involved...
Yep, them sitting there with vaccines will... sorry, It's really bad.
Were never prosecuted, and as a matter of fact, many of them were promoted to high positions of power in the medical and educational field.
The Tuskegee study went on until 19...
So they did things like that, and then they were promoted to high places in the medical field. You know, well, they'll get their comeuppance. They'll get their comeuppance.
1972. The government had the cure for syphilis, but allowed the 600 black American men to continue on without giving...
Prophetic today, VJ. Excuse me. Sitting there with vaccines. Unbelievable.
Giving them the treatment. Governments or companies will sometimes come out and say how sorry they are to try to gain people's trust back. This is to make people think that they would never do it again.
I would never do it again. We're sorry. We do. How many times do you hear that within normal everyday life? I won't do that again. Even as a kid, saying it to your parents, no, I won't do it again. I won't. You do it 100 times more. You know, we're rebellious people without Christ. Even sometimes with Christ. You know?
And they're righting their wrongs. That's exactly what Bill Clinton was doing when it became widely known about the plutonium files.
With the specter of an atomic war looming like Armageddon, far nearer than it does today, the United States government actually did carry out on our citizens experiments involving radiation.
Wow. See, even admitted by Clinton. But was that to give people something to talk about, to keep their eyes on that away from something else that they're doing? Probably. At the same time as that happened.
Thousands of government-sponsored experiments did take place at hospitals, universities, and military bases around our nation. In one scientist injected plutonium into 18 patients without their knowledge.
Injected plutonium. Plutonium. What the heck? I mean, plutonium. I mean, that fuels the bloody flux, the Mr. Fusion and the flux capacitor for the bloody flying DeLorean. That's how powerful it is. Plutonium, man. My goodness.
Consent means your doctor tells you the risk of the treatment you are about to undergo. In too many cases, informed consent was withheld. Americans were kept in the dark about the effects of what was being done to them. The deception extended beyond the test subjects themselves to encompass their families and the American people as a whole. For these experiments were kept secret. The United States of America offers a sincere apology to those of our citizens who were subjected to these experiments, to their families, and to their communities.
It's not just on adults or the living populations that these governments...
Blooming radioactive nuclear material, man. It's injecting that into people. That's wow. Why would you submit? Why would you submit someone to something like that? Just to find out what it would do to them.
Are willing to test on, even on babies who have passed away, ones people lost and grieved over, who thought they were resting in peace. The government did tests on these in something called Project Sunshine.
The U.S. Atomic Energy Commission and the Department of Defense quietly launched a program to study how strontium-90, a radioactive isotope, spread through the body after a nuclear explosion.
Wait, inflicting people to radioactive materials.
They called it Project Sunshine.
With radioactive material, sorry.
And here's where it gets dark. To measure radiation levels, they needed human tissue, especially from infants and young children, because their bones absorbed...
From infants and young children. Abominable.
...more radiation. But instead of asking for permission, they just took them. From hospitals, from morgues, from grieving families. In the 1950s, researchers, many of them funded by the US and UK governments, started secretly collecting the bones and organs from deceased children around the world. They called them samples. Parents were told
Deceased children. Still disgusting. Oh, no, sorry. Still disgusting. Of course it's disgusting. After they died, they're collecting the samples to see what it did to them. It's a crying shame and a blooming sin.
that their babies were being buried whole, but they weren't. In some cases, the remains were sent to labs without the families even knowing. The goal was to test how much radioactive material had built up in human tissue after nuclear weapons test in the atmosphere. One American official literally...
Wow. Project Sunshine, eh? What a lovely name to call it. Radioactive material, Project Sunshine. Wow. It'll be a little burn, all right.
said this in a meeting. We need more samples. If anyone knows how to get young children, preferably stillborn, contact me.
Stillborn to test on it. Wow. So sorry, it's after they're dead, they're testing on it. Or is it the... No, they're testing on it. Sorry, testing it afterwards, taking sample afterwards, because it was put into the atmosphere. Of course. Sorry, I was thinking wrongly there. A bit tired.
Is a direct quote.
We haven't even looked at every single case of the government testing things on the population. So yes, people should be a little suspicious when the news comes out and starts blasting this all over their news stations.
The super flu is the biggest challenge for the NHS since the pandemic. That's the stark warning from the Health Secretary as infections surge. Flu infections are worse than...
See, when they call it things like super flu, then it kind of reminds me on the swine flu, the swine flu, avian flu, foot and mouth, all that kind of stuff, salmonella. I mean, some of them things were real, but some was a psyop, in my opinion. It kind of reminds me of that.
Ever for this time of the year. The situation is more critical than usual. It's not just the usual winter pressures. Daily Mail's health editor Emma Gritt is with me to explain why.
What's making this year's flu season so dramatic is that it started a lot earlier than usual. It started in October, which means it's had a lot more time to spread. And furthermore, the strain of virus that we're dealing with this year is a mutated version. So people's immune systems aren't...
See, why, if this is true, why are things mutating? Why is it mutating? When it's been not the same for a long time, why would it then mutate? Because it's not the same.
Prepared for it, it's not the one which is protected against in the vaccine. It's a kind of skew on that. It's a mutation of it. So people are getting very sick, and at the moment there's thousands of people in hospital with flu, and we're not even at the peak yet, and they don't actually know when the peak is. So services are really, really stretched.
Wow. And Emma, what can people do to protect themselves?
This came out 12 days ago, so it's still going on.
The old-fashioned ways like wash your hands, wear a mask. They are also suggesting flu vaccines.
I'm sorry. Not medical information, just an opinion. I don't think masks do any good.
For children especially, because they are the group which are most likely to be ill with flu at the moment, and they are the ones spreading it amongst the community. So of course, if you go to your elderly relatives, you don't want to be giving them the flu because it can get really serious really, really quickly.
Fog is real, illnesses are real, but so is evil and corruption. We can't be paranoid anytime we experience any of these things. If Jesus is the Lord of your life, you can trust him. Declare scripture truths over yourself for protection, like Psalm 91, Psalm 23. John chapter 10 has some great verses about...
Absolutely. Always pray, always read the scriptures. Protect yourselves, Ephesians 6.
Jesus protecting us. Like when Jesus said, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for the sheep. And another great one, John 10, 27 through 29. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. And I give them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall anyone snatch them out of my hand. My Father who has given them to me is greater than all, and no one is able to snatch them out of my Father's hand. Pray to God regularly and for long periods of time. Worship God, read the Bible, get close with the Lord, for apart from being close and connected to Him, we can do nothing. Also, be on alert for what's happening around us. Expose the unfruitful works of darkness, but have love be the overriding thing above this all.
100%. 100% what you said there. You know what I mean? Have love for people, but you've got to have love. Like say, love's a choice, but have love for people. Always have love. You know what I mean? Pray for them, stuff like that. Forgive them, you know, and give them a chance, whatever. But always expose heresy, wrong, what's not of Christ, what's not of God, what's not of the Father, what's not heavenly, what's not righteous, what's not holy. Yeah, man. Good vid from Sling and Stone. Brilliant. I'll let him finish off that.
Love is the most important quality for us to have. All darkness will be brought to light by Jesus, and until
God is love.
Until then, do not be overcome by evil, but overcome evil with good.
Amen to that. Amen to that. Well, there we go. There we go, guys. I'll get this out ASAP. I hope you enjoy. I know I stumbled over a few bits and the phone ringtone will be in there, but you know, it's a video. It's a video. It's because I wasn't going live. I thought I'd do something, so I'll get that out as soon as I can. It'll probably be out by midnight, which Charles is on at that time, so I might set it for after. Yes, I'll set it for after he's done. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Anyway. Yes, that's what I'll do. Sorry, I was just being a bit indecisive then. Right, bless you guys. Love yous, and I'll see you in a little bit. Here the sunset's free. It's free. Indeed. Ta-ta.